We must and we will find out precisely what happened to this flight. No stone will be left unturned. If it transpires that the plane was indeed shot down, we insist that the perpetrators must swiftly be brought to justice.
That's a Malaysian prime minister, but he can't bring Russia's military to justice for this terrorism, and the whole world knows it. Only Barack Obama could try, but he's too busy campaigning at the charcoal pit in Delaware and at Wall Street doing fundraising dinners. Reports say that 23 Americans were murdered and 1 Canadian too. After yesterday's Don't Give a Damn performance, Obama tried a second time to get the right tone today with a press statement. Incredibly, he announced no new steps or sanctions against Russia whatsoever. Nothing will be different in U.S.-Russia relations after this attack than it was the minute before it. For more on the latest developments, I'm joined by Boris Zilberman, Deputy Director at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. He joins me from Washington. Boris, welcome back. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything because I was sort of writing today's show and paying attention out of the corner of my eye. Barack Obama announced no new sanctions, penalties, or punishments against Russia as a direct result of this terrorism act. Did they?
That's accurate. Yesterday, they did levy some of the most serious sanctions to date by anybody against the Russians.
But that was before
Rosneft and going after.
Okay,
that's before. That's accurate.
Okay.
Today, the tough talk really came from Samantha Power.
Okay, and what did she say? I didn't see her remarks. What did Samantha Power say?
She at the United States Security Council basically laid out the case against what the Russians have been doing as far as transferring of weapons, the military buildup. She cataloged the times that cargo planes and fighter planes and helicopters have gone down in eastern Ukraine due to surface-to-air missiles over the past 2 months. So she was actually the one that did the tough talk today. And I think President Obama probably tried to keep it to where he could still maybe talk to Vladimir Putin, who has basically denied any involvement in the shooting down of the Malaysian airliner.
Well, now I understand from reports that Obama did not even bother to call Putin. It was Putin who called Obama, and that for most of the talk, they didn't even mention the jet. It was Putin who brought it up. Is that an accurate statement of what happened?
Yes, the release was that that Vladimir Putin, having heard of it first, for anybody can speculate why he was the first one to hear it. We can delve into that, but he was the one that called the president and told him about this incident.
And from all reports, the president did not make a denunciation or an accusation or a demand of Putin on the phone. Is that correct?
I've not heard that. That was not in the readout.
That's so incredible to me.
I can't say whether he did or not.
Well, I mean, the president today, I mean, let me show you 2 clips. Here's the first clip of the president in his statement. Well, before we do that, let's just refresh people's memory what the president said yesterday after he went to the charcoal pit. Here, look at this, what he said yesterday.
It is wonderful to be back in Delaware. Before I begin, obviously the world is watching reports of a downed passenger jet near the Russia-Ukraine border. And it looks like it may be a terrible tragedy.
Looks like it may be a terrible tragedy. That's how weak he was. And 30 seconds later, he was joking. Boris, here's a clip from today as Barack Obama realized just how pitiful he looked. Here's him looking 1% less pitiful. Take a look.
This was a global tragedy. An Asian airliner was destroyed in European skies filled with citizens from many countries. So there has to be a credible international investigation into what happened. The UN Security Council has endorsed this investigation, and we will hold all its members, including Russia, to their word.
Boy, that's pretty terrifying. Got to hold them to their word, just like we expected them not to attack Ukraine. One more clip from today, just one more clip. Take a look.
Moreover, time and again, Russia has refused to take the concrete steps necessary to de-escalate the situation. I spoke to President Putin yesterday in the wake of additional sanctions that we had imposed. He said he wasn't happy with them, and I told him that we have been very clear from the outset that We want Russia to take the path that would result in peace in Ukraine, but so far at least, Russia has failed to take that path.
And just a reminder, those sanctions were introduced before the jet was shot down. Nothing since the jet has been shot down. Boris, I actually don't think today's statement is any tougher at all. In fact, it confirms that Obama is not even making accusations. He just wants an investigation. The most he'll demand of Russia is that they, quote, de-escalate, as in, come on, guys, don't do this again. I think this is about as 180-degree opposite of Reagan's response to the Soviets shooting down the Korean airline as is possible. I think you can call this giving Putin a free pass. Am I wrong?
What I'll say is I think he's having other people, until there's a smoking gun that the intelligence community can put forward, he's having other people lay out the case, whether it's Samantha Power or Secretary Kerry, any of the other people kind of, they've been the ones that have been, whether it's the United States intel community, basically out there saying that they think it's the Russian-backed rebels. And the baseline here to remember is that none of this would be possible at the end of the day without the environment that the Russians have created in eastern Ukraine. And one of the things that Samantha Power today did pretty well was lay out what they've transferred, what's been building up on the border, and kind of laying the responsibility ultimately at the feet of Vladimir Putin. And I think he's having some of his other folks go out and do that in the administration until such a time that he's the one that's going to have to be kind of laying down the gauntlet with Putin.
All right, so
maybe he should be doing that sooner rather than later. You
said this twice to me. You said, all right, others are making the case. Once the case is proven, then perhaps Obama will step up. I actually don't believe that, though. I believe the Obama who was caught on tape, despite, unbeknownst to himself, promising Medvedev, I'll be more flexible after the election. I believe the Obama who in the election debate against Mitt Romney said, you're a fool to call Russia our enemy. That's 1980s Cold War talk. I think Obama does not know how to fight against a tough guy like Putin. Last 30 seconds to you, Boris. If it's proved, I think it's already proved with these surveillance audio tapes of the Russian-backed rebels realizing they shot down the jet. I think it's proven. If it's even proven further, do you think Obama has the cojones to do anything here, or will he roll over just like he did to Bashar Assad, Iran, Korea, China, and anyone else in the world?
Look, I think his natural instinct is to do that, to deflect. This is going to be a much more difficult situation. But at the end of the day, I think he's misread Russia for some time. Reset was a failure. Mitt Romney was chided with his statement on the Russians, but he's been much closer to the mark than the Obama administration was at that time. And I think certain elements, certainly in the administration, have come around to that fact. Including the former Ambassador McFaul, who's the architect of the reset policy.
Unbelievable. Boy, when you start wishing for the strong leadership of Jimmy Carter, you realize how much trouble America's in. Boris, great to have you on the show again. Thanks for coming.